but I think this is worth kind of showing the importance of kind of intellectual property branding and knowing what is kind of right as well as what is not right. So Myth Bleak, who, for those of you who don't know, he's like a very loyalist to Jay-Z. And he was talking about in this clip, which I'm going to bring you guys on the Breakfast Club, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, how kind of State Property was a brand name that was owned by Benny Siegel, another member of the State Property, and how Dame Dash, which we all know Dame Dash has been in the news for one reason or another, was kind of trying to, use his IP without kind of going about it the right way. And I want to play this clip because I had an experience, a really similar experience with my manufacturer of these shirts that I'm kind of, selling at this point. Now, we was able to work it out, hop on the phone, chop it up. I was able to kind of give my perspective. He was able to give his perspective. And seems like we had a truce on this one. But if I wasn't an IP attorney and I did not know what I know about intellectual property, hey, it seems like things I would have been getting over on. So I wanted to kind of first play this clip by Benny Siegel because he's essentially telling you what I had went through, but he's kind of relating it back to Rockefeller and State Property, Benny Siegel. Then I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on how this kind of applied to my situation and how I was able to overcome it. Now, again, this is something that you can apply as well. He's just kind of giving you the problem. I'm gonna tell you how I dealt with it in my situation and how you can do it as well if you find yourself in the similar situation. So let's kind of go here and make sure I have this thing on the right speed. I know some of the times I listen to these things on, okay, it's right. So let's go.
Do this. I used to be telling these guys, yo, it's only a matter of time before it's over. We got to get this right. And they used to look at me like, whatever. Like, I remember a time, right? Beans had his clothing line, State Property. We used to get clothes, boxes of State Property. So I'd look in State Property and say, manufactured by Rockaware. So I'm telling him as a brother, yo, bro, check your contracts and all that. Make sure everything right. Like, because I see it's manufactured by Rockaware. I don't think Rockaware was making their own clothes. So how they making your clothes? Like,
Right.
just as a businessman, this was like, didn't seem right. And this was at the time when he was saying, yo, I'm going to jail. I'm going to sign Freeway and the Young Guns, the Rockefeller. When I come home, they're going to give them back the State Property. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, you think business work like this? So I'm trying to tell him these things like, he looked at me. This is when I knew me and Beans the relationship wasn't the same. Because he was like, yo, it sound like you hating on me, fam. And I'm like, what you mean? He like, yo, if Jay your man, like you say, why you ain't got no record label? Why you ain't got no clothing line? Dang, my man, he taking care of me, all this. And I'm like, I feel you. But you know why I don't have those things? Because my bro would never exploit my ideas for him to make a bag. That's what you need to realize. They're taking your ideas. And then when he came home from jail, what he said, they ain't owe me $2 million. Should have listened to Blizzle. But like I said, Jay not my man though.
So and look, this was an exact situation that was kind of happening to me. So for those of you who kind of really wasn't following along, Benny Siegel, which was an artist under Rockefeller that was owned by Biggs, Dame Dash, and Jay-Z. Obviously, we know Rockaware was the a big clothing brand that was essentially owned by Biggs, Dame Dash, and Jay-Z. And next thing you know, Benny Siegel, which again was one of the artists under Rockefeller, he had his own clothing brand called State Property. Now, again, that brand was owned and that ideal came from Benny Siegel, not the original owners of Rockefeller, Dame Dash, Jay-Z, and Benny Siegel. And it seems like at this point in time, according to what Memphis Bleak was saying, they were starting to break apart. So Jay-Z went his way, Dame Dash went his way. And it seems like Benny Siegel followed Dame Dash. So prior to Benny Siegel going to jail, he had the State Property clothing line. And like I said, Rockaware was owned by Dame Dash and Jay-Z, and they were selling clothing. But next thing you know, the State Property brand, and again, I guess going back to that Rockaware and them selling clothing, obviously Rockaware is a brand. They're not manufacturing their clothing. They're going to a manufacturer who has the shirts, who has the pants, who has the gear, and they are essentially manufacturing the gear and printing the Rockefeller brand on the gear. And then they're providing it to Rockaware, Dame Dash and Jay-Z, and ultimately the consumers are buying it. However, Dame Dash and Jay-Z they're not manufacturing the clothes themselves. They're going to a manufacturer to manufacture the clothes, put their Rockaware label, trademark on it, brand name on it, and then they are selling it to the consumers. And in this case, Benny Siegel, who had a state property brand, this is what Memphis Bleak is saying here. The clothing, it seems like they're trying to say, when you see it, even though it's a state property brand, they're trying to say, hey, this is manufactured by Rocawear. And Memphis Bleak is like, hold on, Rocawear they're not even manufacturing their own clothing. They're going to a third party to manufacture the clothes. So how are they manufacturing your stuff? It seems like what they're doing is they're owning the IP, the trademarks to state property. That's what Dame Dash was doing. It seems like that's what Memphis Bleak was alluding to, that Dame Dash was owning the trademarks or the IP to the state property brand, and Benny Siegel did not know that. And a big part of that was because he saw the state property brand and it was saying manufactured by Rocawear. He like, hold on, Rocawear not even manufacturing their own clothing. So how they manufacturing your stuff? But it was essentially a white labeling where Rocawear or Dame Dash had the manufacturer white label the state property brand as if Rocawear was manufacturing it, as opposed to the actual real manufacturer. And the reason I'm saying all this is because when I got this shirt, Peace, Love, Intellectual Property, and again, I actually have a pending trademark on this shirt. However, and I'm gonna cover up the tag here, but the print company who is printing the shirts, they were buying the shirt. The print company that I have for this shirt, they bought the shirt from a third party, and then they printed the shirt based on what I wanted on there. They actually put their logo on the shirt, on the tag, and I called the guy up like, hey, what's going on, man? This make it seems like that this is I'm not going to say the company name, but y'all making it seem like this is your shirt that I'm selling. And I'm like, no, I just had y'all print my name on the shirt, print my IP on the shirt for me to sell. Y'all didn't manufacture the shirt. Y'all just printed printed what I want y'all to print on the shirt. So the fact that y'all took your brand name that y'all got trademarked and printed on my shirt as if this is your, essentially getting free marketing and free advertising as if it was your company, that's BS. And it can come across to somebody buying my shirt like that. This is not my brand. This is your brand, and I'm selling your brand. And again, like I said, we had a productive conversation, me and the owner of the print company, and we worked out a truce and all this love going forward. But this is essentially the same thing that Memphis Bleak is saying, how, hey, Rocawear didn't own state property, or they weren't manufacturing the shirts. They went to a third party, got the shirts. The third party was manufacturing the shirts, and Rocawear in this case, they weren't even printing the shirts. The third party was printing the shirts, and all Rocawear was really just a middleman. They weren't even printing the shirts. At least in this case, the company that I was going to, they was actually printing the shirts, even though they got the shirts from the manufacturing company. But I did not like how they printed their logo on my shirts. I just wanted y'all to print my logo on the shirts. I don't know why y'all decided to print y'all logo on the shirts. That's bad business. So again, as a takeaway for any of you guys out there who are going to a third party to print y'all shirts, print y'all brand name, y'all logo on the shirts, they should not be printing anything unless they're literally manufacturing the shirts, which most print companies aren't manufacturing the shirts. They're getting them from a third party. Unless they're manufacturing the shirts, they should just be printing your brand name on the shirts, because that's what y'all paying them to do. To the extent that they're printing their logo on the shirts or their brand name on the shirts, that's bad business. That's not how that should work. Because again, it can be looked at to the consumers, to the people who buying your shirts off you, as if this third party or the print company is their shirts because it has their logo on it along with your logo. No, if you guys have your logo on the shirts, if you're printing a print company to put your logo on the shirts, that print company should not be printing or should not be putting or printing their logo at all on your shirts. Now, the manufacturer, in this case, if they want to keep the manufacturing tag on there, then that's cool. If they want to put if you say, hey, put your you want your logo on the shirt, that's cool as well. But the company that's printing your shirt should not be printing their logo on your shirt. They should be printing what you are paying them to print on the shirt, and that's it. So to the extent that these print companies are printing their logo on your shirt, that's bad business. Because they're getting a shirt from a third party, from a manufacturer, and they should leave that manufacturer tag on the shirt to the extent that it's on there, and just print on the shirt what you want them to print on there. Like I said, I had that situation, and I went through it in real time, so it was interesting because I watched this video like a week or so ago, and I actually just got the shirts back, and I'm like, hold on, that's bad business, man. Don't be printing y'all logo on my shirt. I paid y'all to print my logo on the shirt. Get the shirt from the third party and print my logo on the shirt. So the fact that y'all printing y'all stuff on the shirt, that's bad business. But again, we worked it out and all is well. So hopefully you guys understood that. Please let me know in the comment section if you guys did. If not, then I'm not sure how kind of clear I can explain it. But yeah, like I said, I just went through it in real time. So all that being said, go purchase Peace, Love, Intellectual Property Research. The link is in the description. At some point, I'll get a QR code so that we can do it that way. But for now, go purchase the shirt. It's white and black, and then you got the Got IP on the back of some, and then not on the others. And they're available in small, medium, large, extra large, and I think I have a few double XL. So go check them out. Go purchase them. Go support. It's going to be a big